L.A.R movement still moving. You see the title. Do people want empathy or control? And the reason I'm talking about this is because, ironically, these conversations, the things that go on in social media, they hit home sometimes. I really was gonna talk about the Canelo Crawford thing, but I'm gonna put that on the back burner. I'm gonna talk about that tomorrow. But what I'm seeing, out in the world and out in social media, you got these people, you know, upset about this Charlie Kirk death, and I get it. I get it. You're upset. You mad. It's a bad incident. It's an unfortunate incident. I definitely get it. But sometimes I gotta question certain things because it's like, um, I'm not too sure y'all are as true to this as y'all say. And the reason I'm saying that is because I'm not sure if you want empathy or you want control. The people who are upset. You get what I'm saying? I'm not. It doesn't come off that y'all want empathy. It comes off that y'all want control. I want, is this a bad situation? Absolutely. Did he deserve that? Absolutely not. The people who are upset about it and are going off about it, it y'all make it look like, oh no, I just want you to be mad when I want you to be mad. I want you to be sad when I want you to be sad. I want you to say something's wrong when I want you to say it's wrong. Because this same like group and demographic of people, for years they've put that out there where, well, if something happens to somebody else, you know, they'll just dance on people's grave if they want to. It doesn't bother them that much. You get what I'm saying? But now it's like, oh, this is an issue. And in my mind, I'm like, I don't know if y'all understand how bad that is. I know y'all know how bad that is. I'm not gonna say that, but people are not, what do you call that? People are not just indifferent or desensitized to this man's death in the way he died. People are desensitized to people wanting other people to go, this is what I want you to do, this is the way I want you to do it, and if you don't do it, we're enemies. That's what people are pushing back against. You get what I'm saying? That's an issue. That's a huge issue. Um, and I can say some things, and for me, it started today, regular work day. And he wound up becoming a topic, and people was like, hey man, he's a good dude, and everything he said was good, and everything he said was right, and everything he said was true. And other people at work was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. He wasn't saying the best things about people, and he wasn't saying true things about people either. And it's like, no, no, tell me what he said that was wrong. And it's like, now if you've been listening to this guy for so long, you would know by now. You would know by now. But it becomes this thing where people want people to be on their side. And I'm going to expand on this in a few different ways. Um, you got people looking at this scenario like, oh, so man gets unalived by a white guy, by a white guy in Utah who's a Mormon or was from a Mormon family or whatever. And it's a political thing, because you got mad. You said the Democrats did it, the left did it. Then people started flipping out and they started going, threatening HBCUs. And this becomes the issue. Is it about empathy or control? Because basically, you get to this point where it's like, I want to crash out on everybody, but all the people that you want to crash out on, you've been crashing out on for years. So it's like, this is just another excuse to try to crash out. And people are looking at it like, oh, okay, all right, well, if we black, it's always our fault at the end of the day, ironically. Even when we're not involved, we're not in the building, we're not in the city, we're not in the state, we're not in the incident. It's always our fault, right? So We get that. Like it's like, oh yeah, yeah, at some point you're gonna blame us. Um, that's a thing. But and then you have all these interviews about black conservatives playing this game. I saw the thing between when Myron was talking about Tariq Nasheed, and I'm like, bruh, if you feel so safe, don't cancel your dates. Don't go out there if you feel so safe, because then it's not black people, it's not the black culture that's doing it. So that's the thing about, it's hard to spin this. At the end of the day, a lot of this rhetoric was really just anti-black, and when these anti-black talking points and this anti-black rhetoric, when something goes left and black people aren't involved, then it just falls apart, and y'all scrambling to make this about we hate these black folks again. And these scenarios don't make sense. That's why I'm going back to, do you want empathy or control? This is no different from because it's part of the political climate. It's no different than, we're taking the country back jargon, and then when you feel like you took the country back and now it ain't going the way you thought, now it's black people's fault and we need to be brothers again, and we need to, come together and make sure we save democracy in America. And it's like, what do you want? Do you want empathy or do you want control? Because what winds up happening is people use empathy as a form of control. People use politics as a form of control. People use religion as a point of control. And for the people out there, for y'all who don't grasp this concept, people know that you're doing that. People know that, oh, you just trying to run something. You just trying to make me, on your side when it's convenient for you, fight for you when it's convenient for you. Even when it goes to that thing with when guys want to go blame the Jewish community, then they tell black people, well, why don't you blame them like I blame them? It's like, you just want me to crash out because you're getting thrown under the bus. You're getting thrown under the bus. So now we're supposed to get thrown under the bus for you. It's like, no, bro. No, people are not signing up for that. You know, it's called a cry bully. I got you. And this keeps happening over and over and over and over again. You see the thing where, oh, what about the young white lady that got killed on the bus? And then, oh, you black people, it's like, listen, bro, that was wrong. That was bad. That wasn't cool. We not cool with the white lady getting killed on the bus, and we not sitting up here, just dancing all happy because Charlie Kirk got killed. And we don't. That's not how we operate. But y'all need to push this out that we're like that, because y'all, a lot of y'all are living, y'all bread and butter is on blame black people. That's what it's about. Blame, at the end of the day, it's black people's fault. Black people this, black people that. And this is what I mean. From his death to the white lady death, I said like a week ago, prior to all of this, when they beat up the black kid in Iowa and they was trying to throw him in a meat grinder on the farm, and he was getting jumped by all them white kids, nobody cared. The young man that just shot somebody in Annapolis, nobody cared. The kid that shot up the school in Colorado, nobody cared. All of this, you get people talking this, well, let's blame BLM, and it's going to be a BLM issue. And if it was a black person, it'd be a BLM thing. It's like, once again, your rhetoric is blame black people. If it doesn't work out the way you want, blame black people. If you want it to work out the way you think you want, you got to blame black people to so people can get on your side. To, at the end of the day, blame black people because you want to control us. And I'm reiterating this for another reason also. All you people who aren't, let's just say FBA, aren't black Americans, and you aren't white Americans, y'all in this too. Because what it looks like is a lot of y'all are controlled. Everything white is good, everything black is wrong. Everything, we're the boogeyman for every scenario, and just be on team white and white supremacy and white angels and black devils, and everything will be great in America. And I'm like, listen, man, if y'all want to be, if that's the way y'all want to go, that's fine. Just don't involve us. That's all we say. Like, hey, bro, we ain't gotta be part of your anti-black. I need a teammate, but at the same time, I need you to be the enemy. We not part of your. He always the bad cop, and everybody else is always the good cop. Just do your thing over there. It's not gonna make you closer to whiteness or the American dream, or it's not gonna get you to where you want to go. It doesn't work like that at the end of the day. But if you believe it and you're willing to go that route, all right, that's fine. I mean, okay, I understand. I see because it's about, in my opinion, that's about control. So, and you got these black folks like I saw like the Brandon Tatum and all that. All these black folks that were crying on social media, oh, you're bad, you're animals. It's like, we ain't got nothing to do with this. We don't have nothing to do with this situation, man. Why are you getting on social media crying and yelling and getting bent all out of shape? Like, there was nothing black involved in this. And you're black. You should know that. But you can't help it. Just because you don't like yourself and you don't like black people doesn't mean that every time that something happens with a white person, it's always black people's fault. That's what I mean by, the control. Some of y'all are just sold out. And if you sell out, you sell out. Just don't involve us with your selling out. You know, um gotta do it. I gotta do it. There comes a point now because I saw, and I don't know how true this is. I saw they had like political venues that wanted a moment of silence, and people was like, "I ain't doing it." That ain't black people either. You get what I'm saying? That's not black people either. It's like, hey man, it is what it is. You got the president, upset. Fine, cool. You got what you got the vice president going off. Fine, cool. You know, kind of think that led to. I mean, I hate to break the news to you, but as a black American, differences does lead to is met with violence and killing. We know that. Like that, that like that's a normal thing in America. Differences of opinion is quote unquote what got Abraham Lincoln killed, right? Differences in opinion, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Medgar Evers, Martin Luther King's brother Alfred, Fred Hampton. You get what I'm saying? The vast majority of the Black Panthers that got locked up and killed and shot. That happens all the time. The politicians that were killed, that were shot at in Minnesota, when they had the guns in Michigan. This happens a lot in this country. JFK. This happens. This is something that this country has done consistently. It's just people go, hey man, well, this is not, if it like, and I hate to say it this way, if it would have been Al Sharpton or Jesse Jackson, the same people saying it's wrong would have been cheering. And that's what I'm saying. Is this empathy or control? Ronald Reagan got shot. I forgot all about that. Ronald Reagan got shot. They tried to shoot Barack Obama. They shot at the White House when he was the president. Is one dude shot out from outside, and one dude was in there with a knife trying to stab people. This is normal. A guy shot at President Trump on a campaign trail. This is normal. Go, boo, boo. This is not anything that's just out of the blue. This is not. This is something that people have a hard time dealing with, but it's the reality of America. This happens. This happens. The question is, you know, in using history as an example, it's probably going to happen again. Matter of fact, that was part of what January 6th was, and a young lady who tried to attack the officer in the White House who got shot in the neck. It was part of the January 6th thing was about you didn't like people's opinions, so you got violent. It's the This is a normal behavior. I'm not saying it's right, but it's normal, especially in this country. We don't like in this country does has differences with other countries. They don't like how other people think, and guess what? They shoot them. They shoot them countries up. They shoot them countries up. They bomb them countries. They fund coups in those countries. They assassinate leaders in those countries. This ideology that it's not gonna happen happens all the time. That's what going to war with Iraq was basically about. You didn't like an ideology, so hey man, we got to blow up the country. It's like this is what it is, and this is the sometimes it's fear mongering, sometimes it's hate mongering, whatever you want to call it, but I think people don't realize that we've gotten to a point in life, and it's just in the society of America that you can't just bully everybody anymore. You can't just say, "Oh, if you don't believe what I believe, then you need to watch your back 24/7 because you don't know what I'm capable of." And that's the issue. That's the issue with these type of scenarios. Is like you hear the people wanting to crash out, and whether it be they talk civil war, race war, it's like the same people been talking that same thing for over a decade. That's what they've been talking. And I said it before. Like y'all play this game where everything, everybody thinks it's gonna come to everybody gonna pull their guns out. It's not gonna be a bunch of people with guns versus a bunch of people with Bibles. That's not how that's gonna go. See, if you can't control the narrative, you think you're gonna control the population through violence. And it's like, that's not how that's gonna go. I'm sorry to tell you, that's just not how that's gonna go. Do you have to? Do people need? You know, do people want to be getting into it with people all the time? No, but hold on. But at the same time, people aren't afraid of what might happen, and people are really well. Certain people are really understanding about what is going on in the world, what people are putting out in the world, and what it might lead to. That's become a normal thing. Like you can't tell me you putting out, disrespect, and you don't expect to get something back that's disrespectful out of the situation. That you shouldn't be oblivious to that. You shouldn't think that, oh well, you know, nothing's supposed to happen to me. I'm like, that's not true. Nobody's wishing on your downfall. Nobody's praying on your downfall, but it's not true. And one thing I say about this thing because of the political part and the racial part is, you know, for a lot of you people who just is blame black folks everything, even when we're not around, it doesn't change your life. And a lot of y'all need to understand that in this sense. A lot of y'all get on that rhetoric because your life ain't going the way you want it. And let me just blame black people, and black is the world will be a better place if black people wasn't here. Y'all don't be around black people, and your life still is where it's at. It's still where it's at. It's nothing great coming out of your life. It's not because, oh, when the black people stop existing, I'm gonna be a millionaire and a billionaire, and I'll be a trillionaire and I'll get a yacht. That's not how they go. A lot, and for you people who push that rhetoric, that white is good and black is bad, y'all don't realize how many people that are influenced by you get upset because their life doesn't get any better. Their life is not getting any better. So y'all think because they follow y'all rhetoric and they're influenced by you and you've got fans, when they realize their life don't get better, their first target is really you. I thought that was my dog. Okay. Their first target is really you. I mean, y'all try to, they going to go after us as soft targets, but when they can't get us as soft targets, then who they going to target? Their own community. Their own community. And we know that as black people, we know that already. We know that all too well. because there comes a point where going down that road, you can hate as many people, you can hate as many groups of people as you want. 9 times out of 10, when you hate somebody or you hate a group of people, you don't want to be around them. And the group of people you hate doesn't want to be around you. So your interactions are going to be very limited, very rare, going to be few and far between. So everything that goes on in your life from that point on is all on you. You can't blame anybody at that point. You get what I'm saying? And people come to a real hard reality check when they go 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years going by. And what happened to my life? Hey, man, it was the blacks' fault. It's the blacks' fault that you've been in Idaho your whole life and you haven't become a millionaire. It's our fault. It's the blacks' fault that you've been living in Maine, in Iowa, and you just never just made it the way you thought. It's the blacks' fault. You was in South Dakota and you just never turned into a billionaire. It's like, yeah, okay, whatever. Even in major metropolitan cities, it's the blacks' fault that you know, refusing to cook. Yeah, I get that. I hear that Nazi stuff, but the Nazis learned their behavior from America. Where do you think they got it from? Like, what do you like? That's a historical fact. This whole let's bring the Nazis in it to slide our way to blame the Jewish people. You want to go back in history? Just know the lesson, fam. The Nazis learned their antics from the U.S., the good old USA. That's what it was. You got to remember, all of that happened during Jim Crow. That was Jim Crow when that was going on. And the United States was at least, 50 years deep into Jim Crow before the Holocaust? That's where they got the behavior. They just turned it up a notch. So, he's a review. When you were black in America at that same time, you couldn't express, your beliefs because that could cost you your life, your job, your freedom. That's what lynching was about. That's what we're gonna keep them in their place. That's what all of that was about. You know. So a lot of this stuff, man, to me, this is about control. And people really are really, in my opinion, they're ready to crash out because it's not people's sense of power over other people is dwindling, and they're realizing I can't control people. I can't control what you say. I can't control what you do. I can't control the narrative. I can't control how you respond. I can't control anything. So, what I want to do is at the end of the day, I used to be able to say, if you don't do what I say, I'll be able to crash out. I'm gonna crash out. And see, you don't really want that. So at some point you're gonna capitulate. And what you're seeing more and more is people go, nope, nope, we're not, nope. It just is what it is. And now you're seeing people who they have a hard time responding, not necessarily responding, but they have a hard time dealing with that ideology. That you bullied people before, yeah, you hid behind a, race, you hid behind class, you hid behind religion, you hid behind white supremacy, you hid behind the law. But now people are like, whatever, it is what it is. And now it's kind of like, oh my goodness, like what are we doing? So now, you want people to empathize. You can't ask people to empathize with somebody that, you know, with as my grandparents would say, wouldn't piss on you if you was on fire. That's not how that goes. You know, that's not how that goes. And then I saw the little janky articles out there about like Justin Jefferson said he was gonna, take care of the kids and pay for their schooling because their dad got killed. I don't think that's a real story. But I would say this: if that became a real story, I'm going somewhere by adding that. If that was a real story, you think Charlie Kirk's wife would let a black dude pay the mortgage and the, what I'm saying, and the kids' college? No, no. Do you think all the people from Turning Point and with all the quote unquote Americans would go, oh, Charlie Kirk got killed by a white guy and a black football player took care of his family for until they were grown? No, no, because they would take that as a slap in the face. Like that's not how life is supposed to work. That is too crazy. That's too ironic. And I hope he doesn't try to. I hope he's not banging his wife and doing the gritty in the bedroom on the like. It's that birth of a nation type of ideology. And like I said, it's a control thing. It's too often where this is about control. Is my opinion. That's my opinion. The other thing. And I just I gotta go down this rabbit hole. For all you people who are not black Americans and not white Americans, and this includes white Americans, and with this anti-black stuff. I don't know why y'all play this role where you like black people that are dead. You know what I'm saying? You like civil rights black people. You like Martin Luther King because after he dead, and you like Booker T, and you like W.E.B. Du Bois, and you like Fred Hampton, and you like all those Malcolm X, and it's like nah. And then all of a sudden with us black people now, like we're a different breed of people. Like we don't have activists now. Like we don't, like what are we talking about? Like we don't have inventors now. Like we don't have people who've gone through injustice and fought through unfairness now. It's like, oh, okay, I get it. You know, a lot of y'all try to play that. We're lesser. The black people back in the day that y'all was trying to bully and kill and lynch, they was the good black folks. You know, but us, oh, we all criminals. It's like, and y'all gotta understand, most of us don't care. You know, yeah, it's like Lil Pac for the same. We love Tupac as long as he's dead. As long as he's dead. To that black on black crime. It's like, oh, okay. This becomes an issue over and over and over. And it's like, okay. So I hate to break the news to y'all, like, this ain't gonna work. This is gonna work out worse than you think. Because now it becomes at the end of the day, like, take for instance, Charlie Kirk has passed away, and you're gonna have people, you know, scrambling like rats to see if they can get in his quote unquote spot. And a person like Nick Fuentes is finna find out real hard. You ain't white. You so anti-black, and you want to be team white, and you want to want to play these games. They finna stick it to you too. And once again, when they stick it to him, hey man, it's not we ain't, us black people ain't got nothing to do with it. Same way all you black conservatives, that are just out here self-hating and anti-black, Jason Whitlock, Brandon Tatum, Candace Owens, they finna come at y'all even harder now. And just remember that black folks ain't got nothing to do with that. Y'all gotta be team empathy, you know, to get us black people back in line with God and with righteousness and with family value. Yeah. We get it. But they finna dog walk y'all. That becomes the issue of control. Because, and the reason why I bring up the anti-black stuff and the people who are cooning and all that is because what a lot of y'all try to do is y'all always denigrate the black community in hopes that we're just gonna go, oh, we're low individuals, we're evil and we're bad and we'll never get right and we need to get right with Jesus and just train us to be good people, white people. Just train us. Yeah, we do. We need you to help us be righteous. They're like, man, if you don't get your goofy self up out of here, just go on somewhere. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. So you get black people, yeah, that's why, black people did this and black people did this and us black people. It's like, cut it out. Cut it out. Cut it out. Because you want to control you want to control us as a group of people, and you don't even know why. Y'all, yeah, it's your inner, it's your inner. What is that? What is it? Even though it ain't real, even though he's not real, it's your inner Calvin Candy. It's your inner Strom Thurmond. You get what I'm saying? It's your inner Thomas Jefferson and your inner George Washington that just we gotta control them. I want to feel like a sharecropper, like a guy who was a sharecropper. I need to have my foot on their necks. It's like, bruh, y'all don't get it. Y'all really don't get it. The reason why America is $37 trillion in debt, honestly, is because of letting incompetence rise to the top because of racism, because of white supremacy. I'm not saying every black person, if you put black people in charge, you wouldn't be in this situation. No. What I'm saying is you looked over everybody. Not everybody. You looked over 80% of the people who were qualified to get to right the ship of America for dumb reasons. Whether if they was white, yeah, it was a different religion or a different ethnicity of white. If they was black, it's because you was black. If you was a woman, it's because you was a woman. If you came from the lower class and not the upper class, y'all done put yourselves in all these bad situations. And now the country is going downhill. And the problem at the end of the day is you think that you can, like being white is going to fix it. And all you other people who are so, team white and white supremacy, and it's like, well, what happens if America isn't a white nation anymore? What am I going to do? I don't know. If you need the world you live in to be a white world for it to be good for you, sounds like a personal problem. Sound like you need therapy. That's what it sounds like, because that is more important than y'all than God and Jesus. You know. So now, it's like it is what it is. And you got people crying over the man, and that's fine. Cry over it's your friend, whatever. Y'all was on different political sides. He passed away. Let's understand something. You mourn people who pass away. That's cool, but you don't tell other people that they need to mourn people because you're in mourning. You can't actually, you can't take, like, let's be honest, man. Like, Charlie Kirk wouldn't want black people mourning for him. He don't like black people. You get what I'm saying? Like, but some of y'all just want black people to do what you want black people to do. So I don't think it's about empathy. And y'all be like, black folks, you need to show empathy. Like, white America can't tell black America nothing about empathy. Empathy is not your thing. It's not your thing. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. He said, yeah, that's how they try to deal with Hulk Hogan. Skin color is just by skin color hella important in America. Skin color hella important in the world. It's just skin color isn't important, and it's all about humanity when the wrong skin color's on the bad end of the stick. See, we don't let's be honest, man. We don't care about all that bull. Like, look, man, we know people are human beings. Knowing people are human beings and knowing what's humane and knowing what's right and wrong, black people been knowing that ain't our issue. We didn't go. Black people aren't the ones who went across the globe and bombed every country and stole from everybody and caused all this color conflict. We're not the reason why people got lightning cream in Asia and Africa and the Caribbean and Central and South America. That ain't us. We ain't the ones put caste systems because of race to be important. That ain't us. That all that skin color, obviously it's important to somebody. Obviously. That's what makes people feel important. People live their whole life and die because but my skin color makes me better than you. This is America. This is America. It's all right. Right, yeah, right. You talking bad about black people? That's free speech. Hey, y'all still talk. Y'all still brought up George Floyd in this. It's like, bruh, y'all still played the lie he was on because he died because of fentanyl. Listen, man. Let me say this. A lot of what y'all don't understand at this particular junction is people can watch. We're all living history, right? But with the advent of technology, this idea that you're gonna spin everything and make lies real, that shit ain't gonna work. Y'all gotta change. Y'all gotta y'all gotta make Google lie on y'all behalf. Y'all gotta make Siri lie on y'all behalf. That's what y'all gotta make. Chat GPT lie for you. This the pillars of control in America are slowly falling apart. See, money used to be a controlling factor, but the country's broke. How can I say this? Class, no, well, no, I ain't gonna use class. Gender used to be, people could get controlled by their gender, but here's the problem. Everybody been all over the place. You see what I'm saying? All this stick with your own stuff is good in the daytime, but not in the nighttime. You get what I'm saying? So you've had the gender stuff be a problem because everybody, every gender, men and women mess with each other, and racially people mess with each other, a different group. So now you got too many hypocrites out of here. Let me be racist in the streets, but but I'm a sex addict in the sheets. That don't work. I don't like women, but I want women. I don't like men, but I want men. Like the pillar of control is gone. The pillar of religion is gone. People ain't even going to church like that no more. You can't control people with religion because now you got too many people who you got too many churches who sent people down the wrong direction. You got too many people who who realized that people were using the Bible in a bad way. You got people who realize, oh, the church is scamming. So you can't hold people with religion anymore. Racially, it's all effed up because like right, it's football season. You got a bunch of racists who gonna be of all races, nigga, but they gonna have some black dude jersey on Sunday. And or Saturday too, because college football. If they gonna have their favorite college. They gonna have a favorite jersey on this and get home, nigga. Why you still got that jersey on? They crazy right now. The pillars of control are just crumbling and crumbling and crumbling. So people are looking for things. It's clown coworker of mine, and they was like, yeah, but black people, when black people get together, people drink, and people fight, and see, white people don't do that. And I was like, white people don't do that? Are you serious? They're like, yeah. I was like, the problem is when black people do something, everybody say we do it and it's bad. When everybody else do something, it don't count. But he said, but white people don't do that. I'm like, it's Friday. Tomorrow gonna be Saturday. You know how many fights they gonna have at these college football games because white people drunk? And in the sports bars? And then Sunday, they're gonna have them in the football stadiums. And in the baseball stadiums. I said, the thing about it, like, we've normalized dysfunction in other communities so much that people point the finger at us to get the spotlight off of them, and that's worked well. They posted online too. Look, once you get your algorithm and you start seeing fights, fights at ball games or fights in bars, you're gonna realize, oh shit, I just watch black people. I just watch because I'm black. I watch a lot of black stuff. Start watching that, you can be like, dang, and you're gonna see a lack of arrests. A white lady got beat up last week. That's all on social media. She got beat up at the in L.A. I want to say at the Rams versus the Texans. They beat that girl up, blooded her nose. Her husband sitting there trying to fight, and she just walked out, and the husband walked out. The dude that beat up was just standing there talking crazy, and the cops just looking at him, and everybody just went home happily ever after. It's a gang of those things. It's a gang of them. I was gonna do a video of Deion Sanders, Mr. Sanders. He's older than me, Coach Prime. When they asked him something, he had done an interview a few weeks ago, and it was like, "What's something that you did that you weren't prepared for being a coach in Colorado?" He was like, "The smell of weed." It's a known thing that in Colorado they smoke weed in the stadium. Is anybody going to jail? No. You go to LSU, the game gonna be tomorrow night. Oh, when they make it, suck that Tiger dick, bitch. They wind up saying that on ESPN. You could look when Pat McAfee did it last year, because he knows like there's a whole bunch of degenerate stuff that happens on these college campuses. All the way up and like, I could go there. They've been talking about for years, even in Ivy League schools, how they're known for cocaine and weed at Harvard. It's a known thing. There are known party schools in America where people OD and get drunk and do all kinds of crazy stuff and fight. They assault women all the time. It's just like, oh well, it's white people, so it don't count. Same thing with the young sister they got. I hate that they got unalived by the illegal immigrant here. The same way they say why the black people didn't fight for the white lady on the bus. And right before that, the young lady got sexually assaulted and killed by the Hispanic dude, and he had a roommate, and the roommate was like, Man, it didn't sound it, man. I heard him in the room with her, but it sounded like it was bad in there. It's like that's normal. Black woman has a white boyfriend, gets thrown off a three-story, a balcony or off of a cruise ship. People see that all the time. They don't say nothing. It's crazy. My bad, my bad. Hold up. So, to me, like I said, it's about control, man. And because the mechanisms for control are falling apart, people don't know what to do. People just don't know what to do. And the thing about me saying this is you can't blame black people for everything. Too much. Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Rich kids always get away with stuff. And sometimes it ain't just the rich kids. It's the rich kids and they non-rich friends that get away get away with the most because you with the rich kid. You with the rich kid. So who gon' you know his family's middle class, rich kid's family's rich. Both of them doing dirt. It is what it is. Well, but it's like I said, it's control. And for me, at this juncture, I think where people are gonna really have a hard time is in the coming years, you're not going to be able to cover up the dysfunction in all these other communities because once again, as I said, the country's broke. It's too broke. Right. Like people knew the identity. It was Utah. You know what I'm saying? The identity of how many black people in Utah? Half of the Utah Jazz, a couple of football players or basketball players at the University of Utah or BYU or maybe Utah State. Like, cut it out. You know what I'm saying? Cut it out. My dog is off the chain. Go, go, get, go. They knew who it was. They were just hoping, they was hoping, oh, my bad. They was hoping to blame a Polynesian. You know what I'm saying? For all y'all who don't know, like it's Polynesians in no, go. It's Polynesians in Utah. They get blamed for shit like, they're the closest thing to black. So, everything that's evil in Utah has gotta be a Samoan. It's weird, stuck to the protocol. Give me this. Go. No, go. Get. Go. So, so that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem at the end of the day. Like, this part's over with, but at the same time, like what you said about Trump, like, let's just move on to the next thing. He ain't gonna go back to the black dude in Carolina, all over again. Because that's the same premise. At the end of the day, we need a black boogeyman. And you can't control, and what I'm getting at is that sometimes you can't control other groups' dysfunction. You can't. You can't control other groups' dysfunction. What I mean by that is, even with this situation with Kirk's death, why was he able to get away? Because he was white in the white area. Why was he able to do that? Because he was white in the white area. Why was he able to be on a run? Because he was white in the white area. If his dad didn't turn him in, he probably wouldn't have got caught. Because he's just random white guy in a white area. They're just going, this is even when they talk about black people and crime and this, that, and the third. This is what brothers be saying, black people be saying about, yeah, man, when y'all commit crimes, man, it just don't. Somehow y'all get away with a lot of stuff. And it's this type of stuff. It takes forever and a day to find somebody. And what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, where he was at, wherever he shot that gun from, did nobody hear a gunshot? You know, you was on the roof and you was shooting, and ain't nobody see you. Nobody saw you on the roof with a gun. Nobody heard a gunshot. It was just a phantom white guy. You know, and that's part of I would say, the controlling and brainwashing of America. That was the same thing when the president got shot at. People saw that dude get up on that ladder with that rifle. They saw him lay down with that rifle. They saw him point at him with that rifle, and they was like, "Oh, maybe he's a sniper or something. He's like in the military. He got to be a sniper or something, making sure he's protecting our president." And it's like, you don't see any other military vehicles or military personnel over here. You see him. You think that's what that is? It's like, come on now. Yeah, you blame random black people. I remember Susan Smith. You know, this is what this is about. The control aspect of, hey man, everybody's on the same team. And I got to get to something else I forgot about. Shout out to O'Shea. I saw him bring up the thing with Brandon Tatum and Stephen A. Smith, and then Brandon Tatum like, "Oh, the first slave owners in America was a black man named Anthony Johnson." This is what I'm talking about. Anthony Johnson you talking about was a white guy. Ain't no y'all in this cooning. Y'all have as long as you can blame black people, you can make up a new history. There was no slavery in the North. How was there no slavery in the North when George Washington was the first quote unquote president and he owned slaves? Explain that. How is there no slavery in the North when, like, what? Whew, the majority of the quote unquote founding fathers of America owned slaves. George Washington, James Madison, Thomas Jefferson. Most of them dudes owned slaves. Most of them. But black people own slaves. Oh, okay, so we're going to do the black people own slave thing? You mean to tell me during slavery, there were black people in America who owned slaves in America and nobody tried to enslave them? That's what you're trying to tell me. Or, since you want to be contextual with history, you are right. There were black people in America who owned slaves. And guess who they were? They owned their family members. This person got out of slavery and bought their family members freedom. So in your twisted context is he owned a slave. He bought back his wife, or he bought his cousin, or he bought his, you know what I'm saying? The same way, the irony of it was the same way you idiots could watch Django and go, they tried to buy Broomhilda, Kerry Washington's character, out of slavery. That would technically be Django would have owned Broomhilda, his wife. Like common sense stuff. But hey, you don't get it. But you watch all these slave movies, you heard of Harriet Tubman, okay, this what we doing? And the irony of this, black people own slaves in America, but somehow there was no black people owning slaves in the Caribbean, was there? There was no black people owning slaves in Mexico. There was no black people owning slaves in South America. Interesting, ain't it? Very freaking interesting. And it was more that whole mulatto thing was bigger in the Caribbean and in South America than it was America. Like people play that game. Oh, and I know some black people play that. Oh, such and such. It's black people that own slaves. Okay. Go find them. Go find them. Because you won't be able to. That's the best you're gonna find is a husband and a wife, or a father and some kids, or a mother and some kids. You know, brothers, sisters, cousins. Go. That's the best you're gonna be able to find. And because everybody had the same damn name, you can say a white person, a black person own black people because they all got the same damn name. You know, you think there's a black Thomas Jefferson out there too, There's a black George Washington out there too, There's a black James Madison out there too, did you know that he no. It was George. There was a black George Washington on the George Washington plantation. A black Thomas Jefferson on the Thomas Jefferson plantation. Y'all be on that dope. But oh no, it's not true. And that's one of the fallacies of of America right now, and this ideology of control. It's a lot of lies and things out of context that make people go yada yada yada. Matter of fact, that one of the reasons I'm talking about that. You know, right? Black and let me tell y'all something about people who. I'm glad you said that, Stoic. Most of you people who do the black culture and black culture is trash. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Either first and foremost, you don't participate in black culture. See, that's the first thing. A lot of y'all, the black culture is trash. Y'all don't even know what the black culture is. Y'all say crime is black culture. See, the HBCU culture, that ain't black culture. The food culture, that ain't, the barbecue culture, the what do you call it? The Creole culture in New Orleans, that ain't black culture. You know what I'm saying? The stepping culture in the Midwest, whether it be Chicago, St. Louis, go-go in go-go and go-go in DC, but house music in the DMV and in the Midwest, that ain't black culture. You get what I'm saying? Somehow family ain't black culture, but black folks having family reunions every damn year everywhere. And y'all come here and y'all talk about family and family values and what family does. The vast majority of the family values y'all talking about is just black culture that other people adopted. That's why people come here. Oh, we stick together as a family and we get an education and we work hard. Yeah, that's what black people was talking about 60, 70 years ago. What are you talking about? Like, what are you talking? Oh, you think that died? Interesting. Interestingly enough, right? Because the blacks, they don't have the blacks. The fathers don't stay in the household. Yeah, okay, cool. That's black culture. The fathers don't stay in the household. So when y'all got all these deadbeat dads, y'all, what culture y'all? Y'all black culture? Because there's a whole bunch of deadbeat white dads, Hispanic dads, Asian dads running around here. It's a whole bunch of these mixed kids that claim that claim that, because I'm half white and because I'm half Hispanic, because I'm half Asian, that other side of the family don't rock with them at all. At all. That's why, all the vast majority of you mixed quote unquote black folks. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. The vast majority of y'all, I'm not accepted in the black community. I'm not accepted in my other community. No. Don't say it completely right. You forced to be in the black community because the other community don't want you. That's what that is. At the end of the day, that's exactly what that is. But the baby mama culture is interesting, ain't it? Interesting. It's a reason why us guys. It's a reason why we see all these other. And I'm not gonna make this a sexual thing. I'm not gonna make this a sexual thing, but I'm gonna say it in this way. It's a black men are a fetish for other groups of women. True, that's very true. But there's another thing that also happens that don't get talked about. Black men are known to treat people better than people believe. See, a lot of times what happens is a lot of these other groups of women, the reason why they gravitate to black men is because black men aren't as misogynistic as everybody else. But people like to talk about black men who are like the lowest hanging fruit of black men. Whether they just be dusty and unemployed and just old losers. That's who y'all like to talk about. That's just that's black men. But the truth be told, what it is it's too many black men who got their stuff together, and they like, man, y'all keep saying these guys are this, that, and the third, but I don't see that at work. I don't see that, at the grocery store. I don't see that at the gym. I don't see that at the restaurant. See, everybody else got, see, they started to realize, yeah, hey, these black men ain't as actually bad. But I get it. Like you said, we got it. People like to gaslight our community. And it's cool. Do your thing. Just because you gaslight us don't mean we gonna believe it. You get what I'm saying? Other people could believe it. That's fine. That's completely fine. That's what y'all want to believe. Take that with you. Go wherever you want to go. But we know what it is. You blacks don't have culture. Oh, okay. It's fun. It's funny that we don't have culture, but in every, I gotta do it. Here's the thing. Let me say it this way. So black people don't have culture, and I'm a slow roll this one. Black people don't have culture, but in every mall, grocery store, business in America, you hear black music. It ain't no. You know what elevator music is nowadays? Motown, Luther Vandross, Stax. You get what I'm saying? You go to the mall, that's what you gonna get. You not when you go to the grocery store, you're not hearing Willie Nelson. You're not hearing Elvis. You get what I'm saying? You're not hearing Ozzy Osbourne. You're not hearing Guns N' Roses. Your ass is hearing some Motown ass R&B, some jazz music or some shit, some soft jazz, some alternative. You hearing some black people sing some Whitney Houston and shit. And I'm saying that to say this. Even when you're shopping, you need black people to set the mood in America. But we don't have a culture. All these damn restaurants in America, that's American culture. How many of them are based on black food? How many of them? Like even old hip hop is in the store. Like he's like, hey, we got black people ain't got culture, but you motherfuckers eating half chicken wings all over the nation. Eating fried chicken all over the nation while you talking about us and fried chicken and watermelon. Ain't that interesting? You eating barbecue all over the nation, but it's black people. You want to eat jambalaya and gumbo all over the nation, but black people ain't got culture. Interesting. That's so damn interesting. But that's all you got. No. If you're using an elevator or escalator, you're using black culture. You're using the air conditioner, black culture. The lights came on in your house, black culture. You got a security system in your house, black culture. You're using the GPS, black culture. You eating potato chips while you watching the game? Black culture. What don't you get? You get what I'm saying? What don't you understand? It you playing video games? Black culture. You got your kids out here with with the super soaker? Black culture. That's what I said. Central eating it, yeah, it's black, but no, that's not true. Yeah, it's all black culture, G. It's all black culture. You playing a lotto? Them numbers, huh? Yeah. Interestingly enough. But y'all play these games like, oh, what have you done? You went to the hospital? Vast majority of shit a lot of shit that goes on in the hospital, black culture. The ambulance came and saved somebody's life, black culture. The EMT helped you, black culture. You had a blood transfusion, black culture. Like what we talking about? Oh, but that's different. No, that's not what I mean. That is exactly what you mean. Y'all like y'all damn, what did you call that? Y'all like y'all buffalo wings out here, black culture. I fucking can't stand buffalo. Yeah, cell phone, black culture. Computer chip. We didn't know, black culture. Y'all own one out here. You got an iron board in the house? You know your clothes ain't wrinkled? Ain't that black culture? Most of the stuff in your damn classrooms, because we're not educated, as they say. The blackboard in your school, black culture. The pencil sharpener in your school, black culture. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all don't think. There is not one modicum of business in America that is not making a gang of money and global off of black invention. Not one. Not one. But y'all don't, people don't put two and two together, right? Because they don't want to. So if y'all want us to be the bad guy, cool. But you can't control. See, here's the thing about making villainizing black America. You can't villainize black America and try to control black America. That's not how that rolls. Once you made us the bad guy, you don't get to tell us how to be. You know what I'm saying? Y'all the bad guy. Yeah. Oh, Jack Daniels. Yeah. And you don't. You want to make us the bad guy, and tell us how we need to be. It's like no, we don't do that. And even thank you, Alchemist. Even a story with Jack Daniels. You see how America didn't bat an eye when they was like, well, the actual guy who made the whiskey was actually a black guy, but Jack Daniels took credit. Did America give two shits about that? No, they don't care. Because they're so accustomed to yeah, it's a lot of stuff that black people made that white people took credit for, and you got white people that are millionaires and billionaires, and their generational wealth is built off of somebody's black's intellectual property, creation, or work. They don't care about none of that because it's so normalized. It's so normalized. Even I hate to break even the criminal aspect of America. When you say, "Oh, it's black culture," how is so? Let me do this. So y'all think drug dealing is black culture, but black people don't manufacture, or transport any of these drugs. That's predominantly whites, Hispanics, and Asians. Y'all think black cultures, black people shooting. Black people don't make guns. You get what I'm saying? That's white Americans, Russians, Turkish people, Europeans. you know, you could kind of say Asians, but it's a certain, it's a certain group. You know what I'm saying? Because people that are in Asia, but because Russia is technically in Asia. You get what I'm saying? So that's that. Yeah, we got zero crime syndicates. Sorry. Oh, like we're the bad guy though. You know, we know what people do for years. We're not we can't we don't when you how did they get you know let me slow down. If this country is on the vast majority of the drug addicts in this country are white. The vast majority. The vast majority are white. Cocaine, heroin, weed, white. Ecstasy, Molly, white. The vast majority. So the question is, because they ain't bringing all this cocaine in America for black people. People like, black people on crack. Yeah, 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 that's nice. Black people's on crack. That's true. Who's on the cocaine? Because there's way more cocaine out here to crack. There's way more heroin out here than what black people getting a hold of. It's way more fentanyl than what you think black people got. How's it getting here? Yeah, we watch all these, you look at all this, pillies. You look at all of your favorite shows of criminality in America show this. Look at the black people, look at The Wire. The Wire ain't got nothing on the Sopranos. Ain't got nothing on the Sons of Anarchy. Ain't got nothing on Ozark. Ain't got nothing on the amount of drugs all these other people was getting and pushing and peddling and oh yeah oh well hey man we just got another shipment of 7 million and we just gonna get in and out of there and it's like whoa what the whoa every criminal black movie or black show you had that perpetuated criminality. They always had a white Hispanic or Asian plug that was bringing a whole bunch of shit in. It was never another black person. Never. In The Wire, it was the Greeks. You get what I'm saying? And the people, so what happened? In Snowfall, it was the government, which because that's based on a true story. Government and Hispanics. You get what I'm saying? That based on a true story. The American Gangster, Asians, because that was the Vietnam thing based on a true story. That's a known thing. And I had to take this back because I thought about an older. So I told this story before. It was a older white guy I used to chop it up with years ago, and I'm saying years. I mean years ago. And this was during the when the U.S. was pivoting from Iraq to Afghanistan for the war on terror. And I was like, and he was like, man, we doing this. I said, man, that ain't nothing but heroin. And he was like, what? I was like, listen, man, the government over there for heroin. You can think it's the war on terror if you want to. Afghanistan got major crop out there is poppy fields, poppy seeds, is heroin. And you gonna see it in America when you see all this damn heroin in America. And he was like, And it didn't take a few years later, he was like, man, people ODing. I was like, I told you. Iraq is oil, Afghanistan is heroin. Don't and I say that to say this. Because one of the things me and a coworker was talking about, because he's telling me, he said, man, America's still the greatest country in the world. Like, don't you think it's the greatest country in the world? And I was like, no. And he said, what you mean? I said, listen, I don't think that America is the greatest country in the world because it had to bomb and sabotage other countries to be great. That don't mean it's the greatest. I was like, America ruined your homeland and you came here. You get what I'm saying? Your country was just fine without America's interference. Y'all doing just fine. That's the same. I was like, that's the same process for Europe. People act like, hey man, these people have freedom and democracy, and it's like, bro, you can't destroy somebody else's land, and this is the great. It's like, I was like, we don't see it that way. Us Black Americans, we don't see it that way. I can't say, like I told him, I said, listen, man, I can't tell you, that's like me burning down your house, and you saying, and me letting you know my house is better than yours. Yeah, because I burnt yours down. Now that your house is burned to the ground, now I'm gonna sit here and say, look, I got the TVs, I got the patio, I got the pool over here, and I got the square footage. It's like, nah, no, your house was just fine until I decided to be a damn arsonist. You know, that's what's been going on globally. That's why they freaking out because of Burkina Faso and France. Like, man, these black people finna cut us off. Okay, how they gonna cut you off? They ain't got nothing to do with you. You where you at? You supposed to take care of where you at. You're not supposed to try to go shoot up and kill somebody else in a whole nother continent. And look. I'm still old school. I don't even think Europe is not a continent. In all honesty, Europe is only a continent because white people said white supremacy. Europe is not a continent. Let's just be honest. Europe is still on the same damn landmass as Asia. The white part is a continent. You know what I'm saying? The white part right here from Greenland, Iceland, or whatever that is. From Spain to Turkey is Europe, and it's like, and everything else is Asia. Like, you don't get your punk ass out of here. But you got this ideology where people destroy other people's stuff and then say, "Oh, we got great stuff." It's like, no, that's not how that go. You know, and for other groups of people, I think that's y'all problem with coming to America and thinking, everything great is in America and the greatness of America, and it's like, it's not. I can't say America like I can't say America's not dope, like cool and dope at spots, but I'm not gonna sit here and lie and tell you, you know, because you don't know the history of America. At this point, you're tripping. Like, let me give you an example. Historical example. Cuba, right? Talk about Cuba is communist, is backwards, is outdated, and part of the thing Cuba, they had all them old cars, and people forget the reason Cuba is in the situation it's in is because of what? The U.S. Why? Because gangsters, white gangsters that was considered white, they tried to make Cuba like like Las Vegas. You know what I'm saying? We can gamble, we can get prostitutes. That was supposed to be the spot. They go to Cuba. They drink, they party, they gamble, and they get prostitutes. And then Cubans was like, nah, we ain't with it. And the gangsters basically got ran off. And then the gangsters got the American government to get involved, and the government and the gangsters lost. So then we're gonna put embargo on Cuba. Cuba already had their internal racial issues, you know what I'm saying? But once Cuba basically beat America, that's what we just gonna bomb them every year. We're gonna bomb them in embargoes, bomb them we're gonna bomb them literally and have tariffs and embargoes because they wouldn't let us put drugs, casino, and prostitution on their island. So now people go, well, Cuba's messed up. Like, you think? That's the same issue, Haiti, and they beat France, and we just we don't know why the country's the way it is. Yes, you do. You do. They beat you. You got bitter, you got soft, and you got the whole rest of the world to not do business with them and keep them under your thumb because of tariffs and embargoes and all that BS. That's what that is. That's exactly what happened. And truth be told, that's what happened with Africa. A lot of y'all don't realize all. Yes, the Africans that sold black folks. Yes, very true. Africans that sold other black people out and they sold them to America. Very true. But there were wars in Africa to fight against slavery and colonialism that lasted over a century. You get what I'm saying? So, and to this day, that's the reason why a lot of Africa is the way it is, because they're like, we can't let these motherfuckers get on their feet. They fought us tooth and nail. We had cannons and guns, and they were still beating our ass. That's what that's about. That's what that's about. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of this is just, like I said, people want empathy or people want control. People want control. They just use empathy as a because history shows that you know that people don't want humanity and to get along as people. People want to be able to subjugate and control people. And I say people, I shouldn't say just people because we play that game too. Well, everybody does it. Everybody don't do it. That's just some bullshit y'all say. That's what that is. Just some bullshit y'all say to cover up the fact that you trying to do some underhanded shit. That's it. But tomorrow I'll be back because I wanted to do the Canelo Crawford prediction, so I'll do it before the fight. So it's gonna be live tomorrow though. But I'll catch y'all, man, later. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.